Okie dokie. So, my brother and I just finished squaring up the foundation for my shop, my little shop. Um, it's gonna go right here in betwixt four of these stakes. And I've already started, cutting up logs and stuff for the poles. I'm stripping the bark off the ends so that they don't rot as fast in the ground. And so the way I squared up the stakes is I put them in where I wanted them to be, which there's one right here, and there's one over there, and over there, and over there. And I got my little tape measure, 50-foot tape measure, and I just measured the distance between one stake to the other, did the same thing, made the same thing happen on these two and these two coming over here. I just made all the sides the right length, and then I took the tape measure and made a diagonal across from one corner down to the next, down to the bottom corner, straight through the middle. And I took that measurement, I remembered that measurement, and did the same thing on the other corners. And I just moved the stakes around until I thought the measurement was good enough to where it was the same number on all the stakes. And right now I'm a couple inches off, but it's not going to make much of a difference because I'm, first of all, not even on level ground, and also it's not like it's going to be under a lot of stress or anything. So I just left it at what it was because it looks pretty square, and that's all I really need. It's not going to affect the structure at all. So I'm getting to work with these posts, because this is what I'm going to build with. Okay, so here I just got my little fold-up seat and my log that's going to be a post for this corner over here. And I'm just stripping off the bark with my draw knife so that it doesn't rot super fast in the ground. Because if you leave bark on a log while it's in the ground, it's going to rot faster. And you can do this with a draw knife, which is the best way to do it. But if you don't have a draw knife, you can just use a machete. It works almost as well. It's harder to use. It's not as comfortable. And, it's not as clean. But you don't need it to be that clean. It's fine like this. But I like this. I have it, so I'm just going to use it. It's always easier to do something when your tool is sharp, so just make sure it's sharp. And you can brace it against your chest. The draw knife is not going to cut through your shirt into you. It's just going to stop right on your shirt. Even if you were just wearing a t-shirt, it would be fine. It's called a draw knife for a reason. You pull it towards yourself. It's completely safe. Within reason, I mean, if you know how to use it. If you're not using it on your arm or something, that would just be dumb. Okay, so I have one of these. It's basically a nail. I got it from a tree that has really big thorns all over it, and I call it a Jerry tree. I'm not sure what it's called. It's a long story of why I call it the Jerry tree. I'll spare you that story. But I'm just going to take this nail it into the end of the log part right here, and take a tape measure and measure down that way to the end of the pole, or till I get 10 foot, and then I'm gonna cut the rest of it off. Almost as good as a saw, right? Okie dokie. So, I have one post in. I didn't film most of the process, but I learned as I went, so now I can show y'all how it's done. Okay, so you can see here, there's a big mound of dirt right there, and that's because it is pretty deep in the ground, but I piled a bunch of dirt on top so it'll shed water, and this is really hard red clay. It's going to dry out, and it's going to be even harder. So I like that it's going to shed water, and it's going to be hard. It's not going to deteriorate as fast as, you know, this nice brown soil. And so the way I did this is, first I took this stick with a sharpened end and started digging out where the stake was. Then, after I had a pretty good size hole, I took this big boy with a sharpened end and started pounding it into the ground. And it is a big log, so it's got a lot of weight behind it. And just started hitting it into the ground with all of my might. And it started building a hole, and I would just pull out loose dirt as I went until I got as a good height that I thought was it's just my judgment what I thought was a good depth. And then I went and I dug up some red clay over yonder and started packing in the loose area around the hole. But I started packing it in a little bit, but not too much so that I couldn't move it. And I got me a rock and made a plumb bob, plumbed up the pole, started packing some more until it was all done. And then they were plumb and packed in. So I'm gonna do that for the rest of the 3. Okay, so now I'm just gonna take this dirt and I'm gonna pack it into the hole right over there, that post right there, and make it real solid. The key to putting this stuff in is small amounts at a time. If you do too much, the bottom's not going to get as compacted as the top, and you want it to be all evenly compacted. If anything, you want the bottom more compacted than the top. So just make sure you do it layer by layer. Okay, I just started making the dome here. So all I'm really doing here is I'm throwing dirt on top and just smacking it around until I get a nice big dome like the other one. So water can run off easier. And I'm not using any sticks or nothing, I'm just smacking it about until it gets nice and hard. And getting another handful. Now I'm just going to put these other two posts in the ground. Okie dokie. All 4 posts are in. Next step is to put poles across from one post to the other and build the roof. Yeah, so also, these aren't really full days. I could probably do this in less days. Like I probably could have done this in the first day and not had 2 days to do this. It's not a full day, just part of the day.